Hello, 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 hello. How are you all? Welcome to Talk to Ruth Live. We are going to be talking tonight on the power of you. So, hopefully, you were able to watch our Tuesday tip and also our Thursday lesson. If you didn't get a chance, you can go back, but that's pretty much what we're going to be talking about tonight, is the power of you. So this lesson pretty much started for me. Hello, Marissa. How are you? Welcome in. Welcome in. Good to see you. Thank you for coming to the live. I'm going to wait just a few minutes and see if a few more people show up. How are things? Are you making videos again? I know the last time I looked, I didn't see any new videos for you, and I was so excited about the stuff you were putting out because it was really good. How are things going? Not yet. Not yet. Okay, well, hopefully you'll get back to making videos again because you were putting out very helpful stuff. So, hello, the fruitful wife. Oh my goodness, you made it. You set that alarm. Oh my goodness. Oh, thank you. I'm glad I'm encouraging you. And hello, Bushido Blade Warrior. How's it going? Welcome in. Welcome in. I'm so excited you all are here. Thank you so much. I appreciate you all for being here for sure. How are things with you, the fruitful wife? You've had a busy day. How is homeschooling going and all that? I know you've been doing it forever, so it's probably not much new for you. But it's amazing for me to see how you manage doing all of that. Oh, thank you so much, Marissa. I appreciate that. Thank you. When you're a busy mom and wife and all these things, you try to keep up, a little maintenance about yourself. But truth be told, I'm always doing the most minimal as possible. So thank you. I appreciate that. You've been trying to make it forever. I know. Life is crazy right now. Life is crazy. Hello, cousin Paul. How are you doing? Thank you for being here. I love you, love you, love you. I'm glad that I'm encouraging you. I hope so. And I hope this message tonight will encourage you as well, Marissa, to get back to doing that which you were doing. So I'm excited about this lesson tonight because this lesson came to me. I actually had another lesson planned what I thought was going to be for the week. But, as the Lord would have it, I never know what he's going to impart in me to give to you all. And this is a lesson that he imparted in me to give to you all. Hello, V Loves TNN. Hi, sister. How are you? I'm excited you're here. I wasn't sure if you were going to make it tonight. One of my sisters is in the building. I don't have any blood-related sisters, but I do have a phenomenal group of friend sisters who we've been close with since we were little girls, literally like elementary school, 7, 8, 9, 10. And so they are my sisters in every aspect of the word sister. So I'm so happy for them to be here. And I hope that soon that actually I'll kind of get to introduce you all to some of my sisters one day, actually. So that's something I'm going to talk with them about this weekend. All right, so it is 8:33. I just on my clock. I'm happy that the weather held up because it's actually storming here, and I was hoping that it wouldn't get too crazy because I didn't want my Wi-Fi to go out, and so thankfully it's holding up. So I'm very happy about that. The rain is gone, it's quiet, and I'm here to deliver this message tonight. Hello, it's all hot air. How you doing? Welcome, welcome, welcome. Good to see you. Glad you're here. I'm happy everyone is, I hope everyone is staying safe and, out of harm's way and COVID free and all the other things that are going on in the world. And that pretty much all the stuff that's been going on in the world is pretty much how this whole lesson got started for me. I know that these are times where we pretty much feel like we're a little bit helpless, like things are out of our control right now with this virus, with the weather, and income, and all sorts of things that are going on in the world that are really just seem to be taking over our lives in ways that we are being subject to just conform, so to speak. We don't have a lot of say in our lives the way we used to, and feeling out of control, feeling helpless, and really in some ways slightly defeated, some ways slightly defeated. So that's kind of how this message derived for me tonight. And God had laid it on my heart. Hello, Nell Court. How are you? Let's see. Your goal is to be in bed by 9. Are you in Central Standard Time, Marissa? Yes. Thank you. So I'm glad you're staying up for me tonight. So that encourages me even more to make sure this is good, especially for those of you who are, staying up late to be here. I am not a late night person myself either, but I'm actually you're in Eastern Time. Okay. So yeah, it is really late for you. I'm a morning person myself. I would rather be doing this at like 5 or 6 o'clock in the morning. You would probably see a whole nother side of me, but I have little ones and they go to bed at 7:30. And I knew that if I, did this early, that they would be up and because they're early risers as well. Yes, Purple Wife, I know you're early bird. I was so disappointed when you changed your time from 5 a.m. I was like, oh man. So now, you come on when I'm like on my way to work and dropping the kids off at daycare and doing all that. So I don't I always have to catch your replays most of the time. So, but I do try to catch you whenever I can. I will say, I do want to say, the Fruitful Wife here is a phenomenal channel. If you all are interested in wanting to know people who I watch on a pretty regular basis, the Fruitful Wife in here is a phenomenal content creator. Thinking about it. Well, I'm glad you were thinking about me. I hope you were feeling guilty. Yes, I hope you were feeling guilty, but it's okay. Don't worry about it. I know we all have to work around our own life schedules. And so, that's what we have to do what works best for us. And this was the time that worked best for me, that I felt like I could stay consistent with you all. So I said, well, let me do it at 8:30 because 9 o'clock was even a little bit late for me. And really, I think the majority of my subscribers are on the Eastern Standard Time. So, it's 9:30 there for you all. And if you're like me, by 10 o'clock, my head is on a pillow somewhere. So I try to keep in mind, hello, one sexy Southern belle. Welcome in. How are you? Good to see you. Thank you so much for being here. I appreciate you. So yeah, I try to keep that in mind. So that's why I moved it up just a little bit because I was going to do from 9 to 10, but now I'm doing 8:30 to 9:30. And I'm probably going to stick with that time just because my kids are in bed and things are pretty calm around my house, and I can be pretty consistent with being here because that's my number one priority, is to be consistent with you all. I want to give you value, and I want to give you consistency. And I want to give you the gifts that God has imparted in me. So I hope that this time will work out for you all. If not, catch the replay. I know it's not as fun watching the replay because it's a lot more fun to be able to interact and talk with people and all that. So I appreciate you too, the Fruitful Wife. If you want to, you're a moderator for me. If you want to drop your link, you can. So for those of you who don't know the Fruitful Wife, powerful. She's done, even just recently, has done a series that was just, oh my goodness. I wish I had a community page just so I could post some of the stuff that she's put on there about sexual intimacy, which she had done on a book from the author. And I forgot the author's name. Please forgive me. But dealing with sexual intimacy in relationships. And oh my goodness, it is phenomenal. It is phenomenal. And she did a fantastic job presenting those lessons and those chapters out of that book. So for sure, you all will want to catch her. And because she is someone definitely that I watch on a regular basis when I can. And there's several others as well. And I'll periodically shout those out to you all. Hello, Apostle Edgar Capenga. How are you? Yes, she is highly anointed. You know, I think some people are very anointed and they don't necessarily know that they're anointed, and some people are. And I think it's wonderful when you know that you are, when you know that when you know how to use your gift, when you know your calling, you know your purpose. And we're going to somewhat talk about that tonight because it puts you in a different mind state and on a different level to be able to present your gifts in a way that you were meant to present them. When you don't know, sometimes good things happen and you're able to be powerful, but you're so much more powerful when you know what you possess, when you know who you are, when you know whose you are, and you know your purpose. It allows you to take your gifts and present them in a whole nother level. And that's what I want people to get tonight. I want people to realize what is inside of you, because each and every one of us in this chat, watching behind the scenes, or going to be watching in the replay, each and every one of you are full of gifts and awesome and amazing things that the world is waiting for. The world is literally waiting for you to get started, to get out there, to put your stuff out there. And it doesn't even necessarily have to be on this type of social media platform, although social media right now is taking over the world. It's a great platform, but even in just our everyday conversations, you know, talking to one person, people we run into off the streets, people we run into dealing with customers, and, you know, in every single conversation you have, talking to your children, talking to your family, your friends and strangers, everyone, you are making an impact. And I want you all to have that and keep that in your mind so that you're more thoughtful about what words are coming out of your mouth. So that was kind of how this lesson got birthed for me tonight. I've always known that we as individuals are connected to, say, several hundreds of people, right? Friends, family, acquaintances, different people that we know. But I have a good friend of mine who's a prophetess, another sister friend whom I've known for years. And she gave this lesson. She gave me the word the way God had given it to her. And it was just like a kind of moment for me. And I was like, thank you, God. It was the icing on the cake for this lesson, really. And so that was kind of how the power of you got started. So what she had said to me, we were talking, having regular conversation, and I was telling her, you know, God was calling her to do something. And I said, well, you know, you're going to have a big impact because with each person that you touch, there's at least 100 people connected to that one person. And she said, you know, Ruth, it's so funny you say that because I'm going to give you this the way God gave it to me. And she said, God told me that we as individuals, we are connected. We are connected to, you know, nations of people. So what it means. So like, I know many of you, especially if you are, you know, in Christ or, you know, in religion or some way, you have probably heard that term. You're being called to the nations. And I think, at least for me in my mind, I always felt like that meant that we were going to be traveling, you know, that you're going to be all over the world, traveling, doing ministry, this and that. But that's not fully what it means. What God gave to her was that when we're being called to the nations, every time we talk to an individual person, we are talking to a nation of people, because we as individuals are connected to thousands of people, and those people are connected to more people, and those people are connected to more people. And so every time we share a word with someone, we are impacting a nation of people. Now, I'm not saying that being called to the nations doesn't mean that you won't be traveling around the world and doing doing things and reaching people on that level. It very well may be. But just know that even if the only person you're talking to are the people in your immediate circle, you are still impacting a nation of people. And I was like, oh my goodness, I had no idea, because a lot of times we feel discouraged in thinking that we're not doing things on a big enough scale or a big enough level to make an impact. We think that we have to have, 15, 20, 40, 50 people, 100 people in our chat or something, when you have thousands of people in the person sitting next to you. And when we think on that level, it changes our awareness of our conversations that we have with people. And that's what I want you to know. We talk about, generational curses. How do those generational curses happen? We impart something negative into one person, let's say your child, and that child imparts that information on their children or their friends or their cousins. And the next thing you know, this negative word that we've spoken into this one child gets passed amongst the family. So when you look at it that way, but yet if we changed it where we were putting something positive into that child, then that also can get passed along to their children, to their friends, to their cousins, to their relatives. And just as we create generational curses, we can be creating generational blessings. And that is what I want us to think about when we are in that mindset. I'm going to take a look at the chat real quick and just kind of see what you all are saying. Thank you. Hello, Brittany. How are you? Welcome in. Good to see you. Yes, that is true. Hey, cousin Brenda, how are you? Good to see you. Thank you for coming. In Abraham was a tribe. Yes. In Abraham was every tribe. Is Israel right now? Yes, that is exactly, what I'm talking about. You got it. Okay. So yes, that was kind of how this lesson got started for me. So on Tuesday, when I had put out the tip, we talked about understanding how our voice has power and that we are connected to people. So yes, every word that we're sharing, we are creating an impact. So whoever it is you're talking to, whoever's sitting next to you, you impart something good, impart some wisdom, impart something powerful in that person, because you never know who they're going to share it with and who they're going to share it with. That's exactly what social media is. Social media actually gives us the ability to see who all we're impacting, because we'll hear somebody say something one time and the next thing you know, it's all over the world. It spreads like wildfire. Well, it's the same thing that is happening, whether we're seeing it on social media or not. So, and that is what we need to be aware of. We are all vessels. We're all vessels. We were created in God's image as vessels, and He imparted lessons within each and every one of us, gifts within each and every one of us. There is not a single person in this room. Hello, Sydney. Hey, Yuri. I like that. That's beautiful. Burgundy and gold fan all day. How are you? Welcome in. Hey there. It was a pleasure meeting you the other day. Oh, thank you so much. I appreciate that. Thank you. You want to help me expand my reach? I got much to share, so I appreciate that. Let's see. God bless you and your loved ones. I'm impacting people on vlogs and they impact me in a positive manner. Absolutely fantastic. I'm glad to hear that, Sydney, that you are getting out there. Oh my goodness, I'm getting rated. What? My first raid. Hey, Vern's Junk Closet. Hello, Miss Monty, to you. Hello. Welcome in. Designs by Cat Pro. I'm being rated. Thank y'all so much. I appreciate Jaden said, just living life. Hello, John Thompson. The social culpreneur. Okay, I'll have to check that one out. Thank you, Burns. I appreciate you. Nikki Nichols, hey, how are you, dear? Welcome in, welcome in. Thank y'all so much for coming in. We are talking tonight about the power of you. I'm happy you all are here. I'm going to be checking out some of you all's stuff, some of you all's channels. Fire and Air, hello. Eat to Live Strong, welcome in. Thank you all for rating me. I appreciate each and every one of you. It's exciting. That's exciting to be rated. Thank you. So tonight, for all of you all that are coming in, we are talking about the power of you, and how this lesson kind of got derived for me was talking to a friend of mine who was explaining to me about how when we're called to the nations, we are actually when we're talking to an individual, we're actually talking to a nation of people, because each one impacts another one, and that one impacts more and more, and it expands our horizon to be able to create an impact on others with the things that God has put inside each and every one of us. So that is what we're talking about tonight, the power of you, being able to spread the gifts that God has placed inside of each and every one of us, so that we're impacting a nation of people. And a lot of you that I've been to your channel, hello, Blinding Lights. Good to see you. Oh, good night. Good night. Thank you for coming in. I appreciate you. Miss Monty, to you, hello, the power of you. Yes, the power of you. That's what we're talking about tonight. Thank you. All right. So let's see. We were talking about how each and every one of us are vessels. And when I'm, for those of you all who are connected to me, who are subscribed to me, I want you all to know, I truly spend quite a bit of time throughout my day popping into you all's channels and getting to know you all, because I want to know who you are as individuals. I want to see how you talk. I want to see how you interact with the people in your lives, how you interact with your subscribers. I'm really paying a lot of attention on a kind of different level than just popping in and visiting and being seen. Okay. So I want you all to know that you're laying and listening. It's an hour. It's an hour past your bedtime. No problem. So I'm paying attention because I want to get to know you all. And I want to see even more so what God has put inside of you, what I see from who I am, and how you all present yourselves, how you all interact with people. Who was that? I think just the other day I was in Burgundy and Gold Fans all day, his live, and oh my goodness, he is talk about full of life. So I love the way he presents himself and presents the exciting things. He was talking about football that day, and he was just completely lit up. And what I love about that is that when we are talking about the things that we are passionate about, that we are gifted with, we light up. We are lights in this world. And when we're doing the thing that we are called to do, you will find that that is the thing that we get lit up about, that we get excited to talk about. And that's what I want each and every person on this live to reach into within you and figure out what it is that lights you up. What it is that keeps you excited and that you could just talk about all day, that you can share with the world, because those are the gifts that you all need to impart upon the world. That is what the world is waiting for. Now, yours might be, and even though he's a fan of football, he can be saying a lot of different things in the midst of that football, but he's captured those football fans' attention, but yet he can say 10 other things that also they're still listening because they've connected. They found that common ground. So I want you all to think about that thing inside of you. And we're going to talk about that a little later too, how you can go about finding what that thing is inside of you that gets you excited, just in case you don't know. Hello, the Positive Pusher. How are you? Welcome in. Welcome in. This one also here is another channel, Vern's Junk Closet. Oh my goodness, there are a lot of phenomenal channels in here. But if you guys, like I say, want to know who I watch and who I, keep my eyes on and pay a lot of attention to, and who I learn from and who I grow from. The Positive Pusher here is another one that is another wonderful channel that you want to connect to. And also Vern's Junk Closet. Vern's Junk Closet is just fantastic at just helping YouTubers grow. She is a genuine soul. She is genuine in her 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 ability and her gifts to help people spread their light and share their light and grow their channels. So these are all wonderful people that you want to get connected to. Hello, Harrison Family Vlogs. How are you? And Miss Monty, to you. I think I spoke to you earlier, but if I did, I'll go ahead and say hello again. Welcome in. All right. So what I want to talk about also is how we choose, what happens when we choose to opt not to speak. When we choose not to share our gifts with the world, we are literally holding back information that, again, could be spread amongst the nations. So I don't want you all to think of when you meet someone that we don't want to talk to this person, because we can easily be turned off by what we see in front of us, because people don't always present themselves in ways that are maybe ideal for who we might want to talk to. If they don't look like us, if they don't smell like us, if they don't talk like us, if they don't dress like us, we tend to be turned off, and very often will want to, turn away, step to the other side, remove ourselves from their presence, because we feel like this person is not my kind of person. I'm not sure I want to say something to them. And that is where we make a huge mistake in missing out on gifts that we can be receiving from people, because some of the best and most enlightening information have come from people who look like they've just been beat up by the world. And let me tell you, a lot of times when I have conversations with, these people, and I don't like to say it like that, but when I have conversations with people who look different than me, I'm always amazed at what I'm able to learn, just because I open my ears, I open my heart, I open my mind to what it is they have to say, and I get past what it is they look like. For all of you who work with the public, my husband and I both work with the public on a regular basis. So we see and run into all kinds of people, literally from all over the world, every day, all day. And so, because it has happened so much, I've become numb and immune to almost what people look like. It's almost like I don't see them anymore. And not in the sense that I don't see them because they're standing or sitting in front of me, but how they present themselves outwardly is not a reflection for me upon what is inside of them. So I like to, so I'm not so easily turned off anymore by a lot of how people present themselves. And sometimes I think people present themselves in crazy ways because they want people to be turned off, so that people won't talk to them, so that people won't ask them questions. And that is one of the ways that we hide our light, that we hide our gifts. And so a lot of times when I do see someone who looks a little maybe off the wall or a little different, I make sure I speak to that person, because number one, they're not expecting me to speak to them. And number two, I'm always interested in figuring out what it is I can learn from that person. All right, I'm going to take a look at the chat. So expired ticket. Let's see. I found out today that there's a name for one of my huge passions. Good. Okay. I'm happy that you found of paper. Okay. Nail court of paper. Okay. Let's see. The feeling is mutual. I learned so much from you. So thank you. Thank you, Positive Pusher. Let's see. Light can come from any direction. Yes. I love that. Yes. Light can come from every direction. That is beautiful. Let's see, please share out. Okay, thank you for sharing me out. Yes, you all. I'm doing well, Verns. I'm doing well. Okay, so what I want us also to learn is how exposure is what changes views. The more we expose ourselves to other people, and the more other people are exposed to us, that is how views get changed. Just the other day, I was listening to a podcast, And there was a young man, and it was a whole racial relations podcast. The lesson was for that day. And the gentleman who was talking was an African American who was pulled from a predominantly African American neighborhood and got put into a school where he was one of four in a school of about almost 5,000 people. And there were four African American kids in that school. So needless to say, they stuck out, and he stuck out like a sore thumb. But one of the things that happened, and I'll share this quickly, one of the things that he talked about that happened was that there was a gentleman, a young kid who was also in the class. They were all in high school. There was in the class, and he always had negative words to say to him all the time. But for some reason, as God would have it, so I'll say these two gentlemen ended up being in every class together and having to sit next to each other pretty much 8 hours a day. And what started out as this sort of bantering back and forth that they had ended up being an enlightening moment for each of them both, really. But what happened was they were given an assignment where they had to write something about, I guess, someone in the class. And what the Caucasian gentleman had wrote was that he thought that racial prejudices and racism was just the stupidest thing he had ever heard about. And he was a gentleman who had wore different sorts of like white pride type things to school every day. So he had been conditioned to think a particular type of way. So his exposure of this African American man was his first exposure ever of someone outside of his race. And it impacted him so much that he wrote about it in his in their project. And so the teacher had brought the young men to the class and had talked about what he wrote about. And to this day, they're still very good friends. So I say that story because a lot of times we don't know, people are conditioned to be the way they are simply because that's all they've ever been exposed to. So instead of us allowing the world to tell us who we are, we should be presenting who we are to the world. Okay, we should not be letting other people tell us who we are as individuals, as children of God, whoever you are, the gifts you possess. They should not be telling you who you are, because you were made equally and individually special with your own special gifts that the world needs to be introduced to. And because we live in a world where everyone wants to conform, everyone wants to fit in, everyone wants to be a part of, not be seen as different, we tend to conform ourselves to what the world looks like. But that's not what we're called to do. We're called to be light. And my light may not look like your light, and your light doesn't look like my light. And you can't shine my light for me any better than I can. And I can't shine your light for you any better than you can. So, and that's what I want us to tap into. I want us to realize that each of us has an individual light. The way you present yourself, the way you show up in the world, the way you talk, the way you dress, the way you eat, the way you smile, the way you laugh is uniquely and individually created to you. And you are that way, the way you are, because the world needs to receive it the way you can only give it. So when we try to conform ourselves to ways outside of who we were created to be, that's when we lose the power. We lose the power that God has put inside of us. So, and I want you all to gain back your power. All right. Let's see. We should put forth the effort. Yes, we do have to put forth the effort. Nikki says, I feel God has forced me during this time to dig deeper, to find my purpose and let my light shine. So I decided to let his will be done. Yes. And honestly, that is the best thing to do. That is the best thing to do, is to dig deeper. And I really feel like this time, these things that are happening, there's good and bad and everything, right? What the enemy means for evil, God can use for good. So while so many bad things are going on in the world right now, I think I for sure see a lot of people in the world using this time to get intentional about the things that they're doing, who they are, the work that they're doing. I see people changing and restructuring their entire lives, because this is the first time that people have had the opportunity to figure out and dig deep into who they are and what is inside of them, what they really want to be doing. The death that is surrounding us is awakening those who are still alive to figure out what their purpose is, what their gifts are, and how they can be of better service to themselves, to their families, and to the world. And that is also, I think, part of why all this is happening. So I don't want you to waste this time. We don't know how long we're going to have this time, right? That we're home, that we are, doing the things that we're doing. And so I want us to make this time powerful. I want us to make this time resourceful. I want us to make this time meaningful, so that when we get back out there in the world, when we're put back out there, influencing people, connecting to people, impacting nations of people, we're bringing a different part of who we are. We're bringing our true, authentic self. And so that we can have a bigger impact. Hello, London Love Jones. Welcome in. Yes, we want to make every moment count. We do. And I think everyone who's going through this, I don't think there's anyone in the world right now who's not feeling like we need to be doing more. We need that we can be doing more as a person, as an individual. I think all the things that are going on in the world is bringing that to the light. And for those of us who are called, for those of us who are intentional, for those of us who want to see change, who want to make an impact, we are looking within and figuring out what is inside of us that we can pull out, that we can share with the world. And I see it every day in so many people. Yarn and Craft Works by Julie. Hello, welcome in. Good to see you. Well, good to see you. Panama City. Hello, how are you? I just recently connected with you not too long ago. How are you? I'm glad you're here. Okay. So like I said, we all question our purpose and our skills. We all question those things about us. Let's see. So what I want to ask you all is who does the world know you to be? So that's the question. Who does the world know you to be, right? Because we all present ourselves to the world, or even think we're presenting ourselves to the world in the way that we want the world to see us. But yet a lot of times that's not fully who we are inside. And especially social media. Social media gives us that platform to present ourselves however we want, for however we want. But yet that's not fully who we are inside. And I want us to think about, who is it that we want the world to truly know us as, and not just who we are, not just how the world sees us. So like, I'll say this, for instance, the world sees me as a Black woman, tall, statuesque, probably, halfway educated just from the way that I talk. And, but what the world does not see from me in my everyday interactions with them is that I am a teacher, that I am a person who's passionate about people, that I am a talker, that I care about individuals in the world, how they live their life, and what gifts they have inside of them. Like, there's so much more that I'm passionate about, and there's so much more gifts inside of me that I don't get to present, but I am getting to do it on this platform, which is really nice. You all are definitely getting to see a side of me that I don't always get to present to just the everyday people that I run into each and every day. So the world may know us as one way, but yet there's so much more to us than who we are able to how we're able to present ourselves in such a short time frame a lot of times, right? Because we only are with people for maybe 5, 10 minutes, maybe 30 minutes, so people don't really get to know who we are. So I want us to think about who we truly are and how we can present that to other people in the world, so that they can get to know us and get and realize the gifts that are inside of us and be intrigued and want to know more, right? Always like to leave people like, oh, I want to know more about this woman. I want to know more about, and I'm intrigued by people who give me that feeling as well. They give me something good. I'm like, oh my goodness, this is fantastic. I love this. I love what I'm hearing. I love what I'm getting. And that's how I want each and every one of us to be. I want people to get excited about who we are and what we're presenting, because they feel like they can learn something from us. That's what I like. And that's what I want to make sure that I'm giving. And that's what I want you all to be able to do, to have that same impact, that people meet you and they want to know more about you as a person, more about you as a believer, more about you and the gifts that you possess and how you can positively impact their lives. That's what I want you to do. So I talked about on my Thursday's lesson, the different statements that changed the world, right? So I talked about so many people, famous people like Oprah with her, you get a car, you get a car, you get a car. For those of you all who were able to watch Thursday's lesson, I talked about people who like Johnny Cochran, who said, if the glove doesn't fit, we must acquit. I talked about just recently George Floyd, who made the statement, I can't breathe, and how these statements have resonated around the world, just everyday people, everyday things, everyday situations. That is the same power that each and every one of us has when we are talking. That when we are saying something to someone and we positively impact them, it is moving a nation of people. The same way that those individual statements have moved us. We have that same power that lies within us. One of the things that we talked about, I think it was you, Apostle Edgar Capenga, that said light can come from anywhere. Light can come from anywhere. But the light that I'm talking about comes from our Heavenly Father. So for those of you who are saved, it is He that puts that light within us, that puts those gifts inside each and every one of us so that we can use them to shine. So I talked about the scripture in Matthew 5 and chapter 14 and 16, where it says, we are the light of the world. A city set upon a hill was not meant to be hidden. We don't put a light on we put a light on a light stand and not put a shade over it so that no one can see it. The lights that we have were meant to be given, and the ability to which we allow our light to shine depends on how close our relationship is with Him. So for those of you who are taking the time, spending the time in your word, getting to know Him, getting to understand Him, building that relationship with Him, I guarantee you your light is shining brightly. And the more we spend time with Him, the more our lights will shine. That's the level of intensity. The more we spend time with Him, our level of intensity of our light shines brighter and brighter. And the more we get to know who we are and we get comfortable with who we are, we get comfortable in the gifts that we have, and we don't feel like we want to hide them because we want them to be seen. We want the world to see what it is that's inside each and every one of us. All right. So yes, He fuels that light. So someone tell me, how do we hide our light? Can someone in the chat, you all can give me a few ways. How do we hide our light, and why do we hide our light? Either one of those questions y'all want to answer, put in the chat. How do we hide our light, and why do we hide our light? Okay, and you can put that in the chat, and I'll come back to you. And then we're going to look at what damage is caused when we hide our light. Okay. All right. So we're going to do, if you all have a piece of paper or anything around you, I want you to jot down these statements. Okay. Or you can put it in your phone, or you can, keep it in your head. These are I am statements. This is how I went about finding out what gifts were inside of me. And this is what I'm going to share with you all. Okay. We put on a different persona. Yes. to please other people instead of pleasing God. And that hides our light every time. It does. We put on a different persona. Essentially, that's what we're doing. We're putting on that shade that he talks about in Matthew chapter 5 and 14. We put on that shade so that people do not see our light. We hide behind personas and characters and words. We hide behind personalities. We hide behind all kinds of things. And that's what I talked about earlier. Sometimes how people present themselves in crazy ways to prevent people from coming up to them. So because they don't want to be seen, they don't want to be approached, they don't want to be asked anything about who they are or what they do. They want people to be turned off. And that's not what we're called to do. Hello, Conversations with Dee. Welcome in. Welcome. I'm glad you're here. We hide through doubt because we don't simply believe what's possible. Yes, we hide through doubt. We allow the enemy to plant seeds of doubt in our minds that who we are is not who we feel that we are is not truly who God created us to be. And we feel that who we are, yes, we feel that the enemy makes us feel that who we are is of no significance, that we have no impact. And that is lie. That is a lie. Hello, Pandy's here. Candy, welcome in. We hide out of fear as well. Yes, we hide out of fear. Fear, doubt, lack of confidence, believing we are not good enough. Oh my goodness. Yes. We hide behind other people because we are not secure with who we are. Absolutely. Yes, we're not secure with who we are. Oh my, you guys are right on it. These messages that are coming through are making me think this is personal for y'all, right? I know, and I've had these same feelings. I dealt and struggled so much with worthiness. Worthiness was my big issue. I thought, Lord, I'm not worthy to talk to your people, to shine your light. I felt that I was not worthy to shine your light. And he had to show me that I was. He had to show me that I was worthy. So yes, that was something. Those are all fantastic things. Yes, doubt, fear, all that, lack of confidence. Yes, that is tactics of the enemy. I want you all to know that. If I can get you all to understand, to be able to recognize the enemy when he's working in your life, that is the biggest thing. If I can impart that upon you, that is the biggest thing that I can gift you with, is to be able to recognize that fear, anxiety, depression, worry, doubt, lack of confidence is all from the enemy. We are more powerful in who we are as beings just by who we are and just as God made us. We don't have to be anything. We don't have to do anything. We just have to show up and be willing to give what we have inside of us. Hello, Sinton Mo. How are you? Welcome. All right. So here's a couple I am statements that I want you all to think about, to think about how you can figure out what is it inside of you that makes you so special, that you possess. So here's the first I am statement. And I want you to put what you are behind the I am. And I'm going to tell you what mine are. I am a teacher. That is one of the things for sure that I know that I am. I'm a teacher. What are you? Okay. And you all can put it also in the chat if you like. Also, I am a student. Okay. I love to learn. I love to learn from people. I love to learn about the things that I'm interested in. I don't always like to learn about things I'm not so interested in. I'm not going to lie to you, but I will sometimes if I think it's valuable. I am also a writer. I love to write. It's a passion that I have that I didn't even know that I had until I started writing. I used to write a lot when I was a kid, but then when I got older, I started journaling, and I love to write. So that's something that I am. I am a talker. Okay. You put me in a room with an animal, I'm going to have a conversation. I am a talker. Okay. I am a speaker. I love speaking. I love getting in front of people and sharing my gifts and what God has imparted upon me. And another thing for sure, I am a visionary. I'm always thinking ahead. I'm always thinking past what's in front of me. I love looking beyond just what I'm seeing just what's presenting itself right in front of me. I'm a visionary. These are things that I know about myself. And I want you all to put your I am statements in the chat, or you can jot them down on paper. And this is how we come to know who we are. Okay. And then this is how we figure out what our gifts and talents are. Okay. And I'm going to tell you all mine. I am gifted at. Okay. I want you to say what you're gifted at. I'm gifting at speaking. I'm gifted at writing. I'm gifting at talking. I'm gifted at, praising. I'm gifted at doing art, or I'm gifted at, so whatever it is that you're gifted at, write down what it is that you're gifted at. I am a student of. What do you love to learn about? Okay. What do you love to learn about? I love learning about relationships. I love learning about people. I love learning about the earth, the moon, and the stars. I love learning about science or technology. I love learning about, what are you a student of? I love learning about football. I love learning about, how people interact with each other. What are you a student of? What lights you up to learn about? Okay. These are all signs of what God has put inside of you that you need to be tapping into. What are you a student of? Okay. What am I passionate about? What lights you up? What are you passionate about? What are you drawn to? What am I drawn to? Every single time this thing is on, every single time I'm around this thing, I'm just drawn to it. I find myself just being pulled in, just sucked into it, right? What are you drawn to? And then what do you make time for? What do you make time for? Okay, tell me. Okay, I'm going to read some of these because I see some good stuff coming through. I'm gifted at crocheting. Oh my goodness. For you all that are in that crochet world, I am amazed at the beautiful things that I see you all creating. I even saw some shoes. I see y'all making shoes. I thought, oh my goodness, I've never even seen crocheted shoes. So yes, I'm gifted at crocheting. I'm gifted at writing and helping people feel better. Yes, I am the positive. I am an encourager. Yes, you are for sure an encourager. I am gifted at praising by lifting my voice to sing. Oh, yes, yes. And singing is such a gift, a beautiful gift. I am a public speaker. I am a warrior. Woo, I like that. That doesn't give up. Yes, I love that. You can use that Eat to Live Strong to be powerful, You can help other people be warriors, and you can teach people how to have that warrior spirit. Yes, that's exactly good. I love learning about different ways of crocheting and using yarn. Yes. Okay. I see you. Let's see. I love learning about personal development. Okay. Transformation and growth. Yes. I love those things as well, Marissa. I'm a student of, yes. And what are you passionate about? And what do you make time for? I love learning about people. I'm gifted at motivating and helping others to believing in themselves. Yes, a warrior like me. Yes, yes. And I believe there's a somewhat of a warrior spirit inside of all of us. It just depends on what it is. It depends on what it is that touches our spirit and our hearts. But I love that. I'm a warrior. Yes. Those are fantastic, fantastic statements. So now that you all have that, what you know what you're gifted at, you know what you're passionate about, you know what moves you, you know what you're drawn to. I want you to figure out how to perfect it, how to produce it, and how to share it. Okay. So that's the next thought I want you to think about. How can I perfect this thing that I'm gifted at? How can I produce it? How can I produce it in a way that I can share it with others? Okay. That is where I want you all to think about next, these gifts and passions that we have, whether it's on social media, whether it's starting a class to teaching other people how to crochet, whether it's, starting some sort of program that helps people be a warrior, whether you put some kind of something together to figure out how it is that you can improve or impact and use what you have to be a blessing to others. Let's see. Okay. Yeah, so that's what I want you all to think about next. How can I use what's inside of me, these gifts that I have, my love for football, my passion for crocheting, my passion for helping people? How can I use that to impact someone else? Just teaching them what it is that you have, or just sharing it with them. You don't even have to teach them how to do it. Just share what you have with them. Just bless them with it. Bless them with what you're able to make. Bless them with what you're able to produce. Bless them with what you're able to impart in them, how to encourage them, how to motivate them, how to get them to see themselves in a different light. Being able to just know that they can do something. And art and crocheting and all those people, for those of you who have that sort of, gifts with your hands, like whether you're a carpenter, a painter, a creator, and with your hands, what I find about those types of gifts is that when you can teach those things and teach other people how to use those things or how to do those things, even if it's not their gift, it gets them in the mindset of understanding that they can do something different that they didn't even know that they could do. And when you can open a person's mind into seeing that, oh, I didn't even know I had this talent. I didn't even know I could do this. I've sat in those paint classes where you go and you paint, and I'm not a painter, but I love going to these classes because they make me think that I can paint. They make me feel like I can paint. And I have paintings in my house right now that I've painted, and people look at that and they think, oh, wow, you're a painter. I'm like, no, not really, but I have that ability to be able to do that. And just knowing that I have the ability to be able to do something that I didn't know I can do boosts my confidence, boosts my level of awareness of things about myself. It removes limitations from around me. Another thing that I've done with my children, one of my sons especially, I used to take him to, he was very fearful. He was a very fearful child, very anxiety type child. And I thought, I got to get him out of this. I got to get him, I need to make him feel like he's a warrior, that there's nothing impossible to him. So I used to take him hiking. And this is something that you can even do yourself. Challenge yourself to do something outside the box of what you would normally do, and then encourage others to do the same. I used to take him hiking, and we would hike these pretty, strenuous, difficult level hills. I live in Texas, and it's a lot of hill country out here. They have tons of hiking, beautiful hiking trails. And so we used to do hiking, and it was a challenge for him. But when we got to the top of those hills and the top of those mountains, and he got to see and look down and see how far he was able to climb, it opened up a whole new world of possibility for him. Okay. So sometimes, even if people aren't gifted at the thing that we're gifted at, just showing them that they can do something outside of what they think they can do empowers them tremendously. It empowers people tremendously. That is when we're shining our light. That's when we're shining. That's when you're shining your light. So I want you to think about those things that you learn. You cannot paint either. No. No, but doing these things that I know that I can't do, and I've crocheted before too. I've had people teach me how to crochet, and I have crocheted jewelry before. I've done crochet jewelry before. I don't know if you've ever crocheted jewelry, but that was pretty cool, and I actually really like that. So I love doing all these different things because it shows me gifts and talents and skills and abilities that I didn't know that I had. And even though they're not things that I want to do on a regular basis, they prevent me from having limitations on my life. I never say, I don't think I can do that anymore. I don't think I can do that. I say, well, you know what? I can do that. I just might. Let me see. Let me try. And that willingness to do new things opens up the doors to help me realize the things that I really am good at, and helps me to focus on those things. Let's see. I have a group of ladies from church that make preemie hats, yes, and blankets for babies in Rwanda. Yes, I taught the ladies how to use a knitting loop to make those hats. I'm teaching a friend to crochet. Yes. So that is a perfect thing. You are using your gifts you found a way to use your gifts to be a blessing to others, to serve. So, and that's ultimately what we're called to do, right? We're called to serve. We're called to teach. We're called to impart our gifts amongst each other. Okay. All right. Well, guys, it is getting upon the hour here. It is 9:27 on my watch, and I want to be mindful of your time. And I just want to thank each and every one of you for being here tonight. Thank you for the raid. I'm so excited. I got my first raid. So I appreciate each and every one of you all being here. I'm not going to take up any more of your time. I hope you spend a little more time thinking about what you're gifted at, your I am statements, and how you can perfect it, how you can produce it, and how you can share it. Okay, because that is the power that lies within you. Okay, that's how we tap into that light. So thank you. I'm going to say a quick prayer and then we're going to head out of here. Father, I just want to come thanking you tonight for the gifts and for helping us to realize the gifts that you have imparted inside of us. Thank you for helping us to understand that we are lights impacting a nation of people every time we open our mouths to speak to someone. We thank you, Lord, for who you are. We thank you for who you are inside of each and every one of us. We thank you for how you've empowered us to do, to be, to give, to share, to bless. All these things that we didn't know. Father, I just ask that you help us to overcome the enemy's tactics to try to destroy, to try to place fear, doubt, unworthiness, all these things that are preventing us from shining our light. Father, help us to take those shades off of us so that we can use our light to impact your world. We are not helpless in this earth. We are not unworthy. We are not meaningless, and we matter and we make a difference. So, Father, touch each and every one of these people in this live tonight. Touch each and every person who'll be watching the replay, and just help us to go out and be the light that you've called us to be. We thank you for who you are. These things I ask in your son, Jesus' name. Amen. All right, guys. I appreciate each and every one of you. I'll have a tip for those of you who are new. Every Tuesday, I put out a quick tip. Every Thursday, I put out a 10 to 15 minute lesson. And then whatever I'm talking about, that on those two things are what we talk about on our live sessions on Saturday nights. All right. So I appreciate you. I love each and every one of you. I am going to be trying to visit as many of your channels as possible because I want to get to know you. So don't be surprised if you see me pop in somewhere in your comments or in one of your lives. That's what I do. I'm looking at you. I'm watching you. I want to get to know who you are and see how you're impacting the world. All right. Okay. Thank you so much. And I'll see y'all next week. Have a good one. Bye.